What's going on, everybody? My name is Critic, and welcome back to another episode of my ARK Hardcore playthrough, where I play through the island on Hardcore. And this week, we're going to do quite a bit of fun stuff today. This week, we're going to be doing quite a bit of... Yeah, oh my god, if I could only speak! Now, I'm going to leave this in because I think it's important for everybody to know that I'm attention deficit, and I stutter, and I have all of the fun stuff, right? So I'm sure that you guys have noticed it in my videos where I will just kind of stammer through stuff, or I will start talking about something, and then something on the screen will happen, and I'll be like, oh yeah, and then just never go back to what I was talking about. No, that's a real thing. So when I record these episodes, I actually do this all in one take. So I edit down the episode to the clips that I want to keep, and then I go back and I rewatch the episode, and I record my voice as I'm watching the episode. So I don't even really plan out what I'm going to say, which is why I'm doing this here right now, because I'm doing a long flight to the new base location that we are going to be building today. This is something that I have been talking about. Now, for the first two episodes, we were on the beach, we were getting established. Now, I have enough walls and stuff built to actually build a new location in a little bit more dangerous area, where we can actually have access to things like the Ankylosaurus, the Doedicurus, the Therizinosaur, or Mammoth, depending on which wood gather I really want to get. And then we can also get Rexes and argentavis and all that stuff. So I'm going to a spot that's a bit more dangerous, but for the sake of this playthrough, should keep us moving at a decent enough pace. So I'm coming up here to this mountain where there's I guess it's technically a hill, but where there's a bunch of metal up here and some crystal nodes. But there's a lot of argentavis who live around here. This is also a decent spot for Rexes to spawn. And Allosaurus also spawn up here, but they're not quite as good to have as Rexes are. Ankies and Dodics will also spawn up here, but there aren't really a whole lot around right now. Yeah, you can see here there's a Rex off to the right. I'm going to see if it's worth taming. It's not. So part of the reason that I am leaving this whole clip in, though, is to give you guys an idea as to how far that I have to fly, because I'm going to be making this trip about 5 or 6 times. In order to build this new location. So, just getting over this now. I'm flying over the redwoods right now, and for those of you who have never played this game, there is a creature called the Thylacoleo, and it's basically like a bear cat. And it will climb trees, and if you are flying through the redwoods, it will actually leap off a tree and take you off of your mount, take you to the ground, and it will just kill you. Even a low level 1 will kill you really fast. So when dealing with the redwoods, you always want to go over, never through. So here we are. We're at the place where I'm going to be building this I guess, I don't know if I should call it a main base or an outpost, because it's going to start small, but it's going to grow. You can see here that there's an Alpha Carno over there that is, having his way with the wildlife. Yeah, I'm going to just start building around it, because it's far enough away it shouldn't mess with us, and I don't have to get off of the Pteranodon, so if it does happen to aggro to us, I can just take off. So now you see here that it's got near that bear and has decided that the bear looks tasty, and so now it is thoroughly distracted and we can start building. So part of the problem with building on terrain in this game is that if it's not super level, it's hard to build with things like foundations. I got lucky that this spot here, I'm able to actually build with foundations, but when you're dealing with uneven terrain, you normally have to build with pillars and ceilings, which is a bit more expensive in the long run. But you are able to get a nice flat area out of it. So I've got the floor done, and now I've just got to go back and grab the grab some walls. And see that Carno has taken that, followed that bear off the cliff, and that Carno is now no longer a threat. So I went back to the beach, started grabbing stuff like walls, just so I could start building up. And I did grab, yeah, just supplies. The next couple of minutes here is just going to be me flying back to that location. I'm not going to show the whole journey, though. I showed the journey once. You know it's a long journey. It takes about 4 or 5 minutes to do each way. So we're going to go ahead and skip. And now we're landed, and I've already built... Apparently I cut out the part where I built the first part of it. That's okay, though. So we are going to build this 4 high, and that's because I'm going to be putting a dino gate on this building, and dino gates are 4 high. Your behemoth gate is 12 walls high, so that's something to keep in mind if you're ever building with a behemoth gate. And that's what you need for like Rexes, Brontos, Gigas to walk through. So this here is a 4 high wall, and the positive of you building with a 4 high wall is it does reduce lag on larger servers because it's a single entity instead of 4 separate entities. But you can see that it doesn't have that wooden look to it on the inside. So that's that's a design difference. Some people like that, some people don't. I couldn't care less. So this time I'm coming back again with a couple of windows to put on that back wall and a whole bunch more walls to kind of finish off everything that isn't the Dino Gateway. Yep. And because of the way the game is, I have to switch over to the regular walls and then switch back to the window and then finish it up with the walls. And you'll notice I don't really get off my Pteranodon. That's because if a terror bird happens to walk up or something else happens to come up on us, we can at least just take off. I don't have to just die. So now I'm coming back again. I've got the ceilings and the Dino Gateway. So the ceilings, you basically want to start from a single point and then start building off of each other. Because what will happen is your walls will have different snap points. It's just a quirk of the game. And so with your walls having separate snap points, you can, like if you were to start by just going around the walls and then filling everything in like a circular motion, you'll end up with gaps in between your ceilings. And you definitely don't want that. So you basically want to start off with one ceiling and move out. Now, as soon as I placed this doorway on, I could tell immediately that that door was crooked, but it was too late. I'm not at a point where I can actually go out and just make another Dino Gateway yet. Now, you will notice I'm putting a bed down, and, well, you know, this is a hardcore game, so if I die, I die, but if you have beds, you can actually transport yourself instantly from bed to bed. You just can't transport items with you. So I did a fly around to see what level of dinos I could find, because again I need an argentavis and all that, but then I saw this guy. This little Titanosaurus just decided to spawn in as I was flying around. And once again, for those of you who don't know this game, a Titanosaurus is the largest creature built into the base game. It is also the strongest base creature in the game, and is capable of destroying every kind of buildable platform in the game. So it can build, or it can destroy metal and tech. And this thing is larger than a Gigantosaurus. It's larger than a Brontosaurus. And I'm going to fly up here to kind of give you a true idea as to how huge this thing is. They are neutral, so they won't attack you unless they are attacked. But if you see how huge they are, it's very easy if you're attacking something and one of them is around. Their hitbox is massive. So I went ahead and left him alone, and I saw this red drop with a ring around it. And a red drop has the highest tier of available loot in the game. And with a ring around it, that means that it's basically 2 spawns are in here. So you're getting double what you would normally get. So I went ahead and checked it out. Now, I saw this other Pteranodon, and it's level 104. And my current Pteranodon, I think, is like level 130 something. So once this thing tames up, it will actually be higher level just by being tamed. Oh, there we go. It's already out. And you can see here, I look around like, what? One? That's all it took? Yeah. When you get to a certain point, you can craft a rifle, and you can craft trank darts, and those trank darts are 100% worth it. So since I've got this Pteranodon knocked out, I want some prime meat to tame it with. And so I start looking around for sources of prime meat. And then I remember that there's this Carno over here. And alphas give tons of prime meat. Now, again, we are on single player settings. So this alpha has less health than it would normally on a public server. And it also yields a lot more prime meat than it would on a public server. Now, I am going to show most of the fight on this one because these things just have an insane amount of health, and they take a whole bunch of damage. So a big reason I'm using the crossbow here is I don't have enough bullets to use the gun. So the gun is basically just for knocking things out at this point. Eventually, I will get a wood burning farm going where I basically just make a whole bunch of furnaces and just turn them on and just keep them going with wood. But until then, I'm basically pretty well limited on how much gunpowder I've got, especially again being a solo series, and not being on a server. What that means is as soon as I go out of render of any of my furnaces that are back at the beach base, they de-render, and they're not burning anymore. So like as I'm over here, my animals aren't starving over there. My crops aren't growing. Anything that I've got in a furnace is not burning. Yeah. So you can see here that the Carno got tired of being shot and not being able to hit its meal. But it did get itself stuck again, so I just continued to pelt it. And you see me looking around every once in a while, and the reason I'm doing that is just to make sure I'm not going to get snuck up on. There are saber-tooths that can spawn near this area and wander over. Not a whole lot of raptors, but terror birds, which are little bastards. I hate terror birds. They're very dangerous. They hit very hard. And they also roam in packs of 3. So, once again, this Carno is just kind of, he adjusted himself, got tired of being hit, and I'm just pelting away, whittling his health down as much as possible. And then it starts to rain, which is always nice because you don't have to worry about filling up your water. So I'm low on arrows now, and so I just decided to get on the bird or the pteranodon and just go down and start biting. And so in this game, when you're fighting with a bird, the best thing you can do is get right out of hit range, hold the X button on the keyboard, and that's your air brake. That'll make sure that if you get hit, you don't just go flying out of bounds. It allows you to precision stop at places, so it makes these fights a lot easier. Now, I have played this on Xbox before, and on Xbox with the controller, you don't have an air brake button. Same thing with with Steam version. If you're playing with a controller, because this game does have full controller capabilities through Steam, that controller does not have an air brake option. So the keyboard is the only way to do it, and you just hold the X button, and it allows you to just basically air brakes. You don't just go flying all over the place. And we are going to kill a couple more alphas in this episode, so I'll kind of show you a little bit more of what I'm talking about. Now, my stamina was getting really low, and you can see here I'm checking the food levels of this other pteranodon to make sure that, one, it's not going to starve to death, but two, to make sure that it's not going to wake up anytime soon. So, yep, you can see here, so I had to get more stamina so I could continue attacking this Carno. And you can kind of see that the Carno's got some blood spots on its back. And that's basically the only indicator of health on these things, is the blood spots. And with alphas, because they glow red, it really makes it difficult to monitor how much health they do or don't have. Now you see these bugs are attacking me, and up in the upper right hand corner I've got that skull and crossbones, that red skull and crossbones. And if you look at the energy on my pteranodon, that energy is just plummeting. Even though I'm landed and I'm not really doing anything, that my energy just keeps going down on my pteranodon. And the reason for that is that poison that the bugs give you, it just drains your stamina, and it prevents you from being able to gain stamina until it's gone. So there it is, it completely drained my stamina. You can see the emblem of the tired guy up in the left-hand corner. Had that come up while I was still in the air, my pteranodon would have just landed, and it would have just landed in the water, and it would have been there, and the Carno would have just killed us. So as soon as those bugs came out and I was able to kill the one, I was able to not have to die because of that. And so now that I saw this bug coming up again, I was able to turn around and kill it before it had a chance to really get me. And now I can focus a little bit more on this Carno. Now, another thing that when you're doing stuff like this that you have to watch out for is, you see this Dimorphodon that's flying around? Dimorphodons are terrible if you accidentally hit them, because what they'll do is they'll attack you, but they won't attack the pteranodon. Most dinos, when they attack you and you're on a mount, they will attack the mount before they attack you. Oh, here we go, we've killed the Carno. And you'll see how much prime meat I get out of this guy. If I remember, it's 106 raw prime meat. There we go. Now that's not normal. Normally you might get, 10 to 15 prime meat if you're playing official. So, but back to the Dimorphodons. When you're going up against Dimorphodons, they don't attack the mount that you're on. What they'll do is they'll attack the player, and they are capable of absolutely shredding all of your armor. So Dimorphodons are terrible to play against. So I thought I had bought myself enough time for the Pteranodon to just instant tame, but unfortunately I had to wait a little bit longer. So now that I have this new Pteranodon, though, I need to get some levels into her. So I'm going to take her out. I'm going to try to get some levels, and what I need to do is find an argentavis and tame that argentavis. Now, the reason I need an argentavis is their capacity to carry a lot of weight. It's almost unrivaled by most other animals. And what they do is things like stone, stuff that you would mine up. So stone, crystal, obsidian, metal, all of that stuff. When you put it in their inventory, it weighs half of what it would in your inventory. And this is the main reason to have an argentavis, is to fill its inventory with stuff that you find or stuff that you mine up, and use it to kind of mule stuff. Use it as a mule to carry stuff around the server for you. So this is me going over and just looking through as many of these birds as I can possibly find, because I'm going to do my best to tame the highest level one. Now, I didn't leave this clip in, but before any of the clips on this episode started, I had about an hour and a half play session that I did record, but nothing really happened in. I just did a bunch of scouting, so I didn't include anything from that clip. I deleted the whole clip from this recording. But I did find a level 96 argentavis up here, which is why I'm coming up here first. But I have not seen that argentavis since. And that is part of the issue with this game in general, is that you can find a high-level creature and it could just get swamped by other mobs and then die. So right here what I'm doing is I'm building an argentavis trap. Well, it's kind of a general trap. You can use it for more than just an argentavis, but this is what most people use for an argentavis trap. You want to make sure that you can run through at least one or two of these. So you put down 4 dinosaur gates, and you make sure that there's enough space to run between some of them, because of how you're going to trap the animal that you want to get in there. I'll place it here in a second. There we go. And now, so you've got 4 dinosaur gates placed down. And now you're going to take a dinosaur gateway, or yep, the actual door, and you're going to put the doors on each side. And then what most people do is they'll open both sides and try to do a fly-through and capture things that are following them. What I do is I open one side, leave the other side closed, and then I just go in and turn around, because the argentavis cannot outmaneuver a pteranodon. Argentavis are much smaller, and they have a larger turn radius, whereas your pteranodon is small, faster, and has a crazy good turn radius. Pteranodons are they're undervalued because of the fact they can't hold a whole lot of weight, and they're not really long flyers, but they're quick. If you get one with good stamina, they will carry you across the map really quickly. So now we've got the rifle out. We're going to start shooting this guy with some tranq darts, and let him fly around. We don't want to waste a tranq dart. We always want to make sure we get a hit marker. You do basically want to go, about 6 seconds, 5 to 6 seconds between each shot, and that allows the majority of the effect from the tranq dart to take effect on the creature. So if you start just pumping and pumping and pumping, one, you might use more tranq darts than you need, because there is a residual growing effect for torpidity with each dart. But you also run the chance of accidentally shooting as the creature gets knocked out. And what that does is that messes up your taming effectiveness. Now, your taming effectiveness is one of those things that if you don't know much about the game, you don't know, why taming effectiveness really matters. And the reason for it mattering is it's the more levels that it gains. So this argentavis is level 72. It can gain half of that. It can gain 50% levels. And so here we have a nice little wall glitch. So these Diplos are because they're on this wall. When they die clipped into the wall, and so the game just deletes them. If you've ever had this happen, it's because they're on the wall. So I went down here and I decided to kill this guy. Now by this time, all that meat from the Carno had decayed. So I got some 14 more raw prime meat, and this RG decided that it wanted some of that prime, so I decided to kill it too. And just went ahead and filled this one with prime meat. And I tried to starve tame it again. I didn't quite let it go long enough. So that was, my bad on that. But you can see I've got a 99.4% taming effectiveness, now 99.3, and it's going to gain 35 levels. If you accidentally hit them with an extra dart as they're passing out, you'll actually take away some of that taming effectiveness, and they won't gain as many levels. So even though this argentavis only tamed out to be level 107, level 109 by the time we got back to the beach base, I decided to go ahead and do a note run. Now these explorer notes, and I know that these explorer notes are all capable of being gathered by foot. What you do is you run around to these locations, and each time you just pump up your speed a little bit more, and you can outrun anything that's going to try to chase you. By the end of this, though, we're going to gain so many levels, it's absolutely ridiculous. And you can see I've got 2,000 seconds of double XP going. So for 2,000 seconds, now 3,000 seconds, I'm going to be getting double XP for anything I kill, anything I farm, or anything like that. And you can see in the upper right hand corner, my dino also gets it. So with the argentavis, what I'm leveling up on it mostly is its stamina. I got its stamina to 1300, so that way it can fly a longer distance. I got its weight, I got its melee up to 500, so I can actually kill things like, alphas and what have you. And then I've just pumping everything else into its weight. And as of recording, I think its weight is over 1,700 pounds. Which, if you are, talking metal, you can carry about 3,000 pounds worth of metal with this bird, and it won't. It'll be slow, but it won't stop it from flying. So these note runs are really important for making sure that you're getting everything that you need, and quick leveling an animal. I did find another explorer note as I was out flying around looking for alphas, and you can see here I've honed in on this red glow from this alpha raptor. So I come over and help this alpha raptor kill this trike, and the reason for that is you can see this argentavis has a green glow about it after I ate that trike, and what that does is that heals the argentavis and it replenishes its stamina so it can fly longer. So every time that it eats a carcass, it gains a healing buff that also replenishes its stamina, its energy, so you don't have to stop and land as frequently, which is really helpful because this ends up being a really high level alpha raptor. And you can hear that these birds are insanely loud, not very quiet at all, but absolutely worth it, 100% worth it. Among my favorite tames in the game. To the extent that, for the most part, unless I have some place to be fast, I don't really take even fly wyverns around on the public server. Even though I have wyverns, I do most of my stuff on an argentavis. So, I mean, again, this Alpha Raptor happens to have just an absolute ton of health. It is high level. You can see that my Argentavis is already down to about half health. But I'm also holding X, and I'm hovering right above where it can hit now, and just tearing it up. And that's what I do now. This Alpha Raptor goes over to this trike that it apparently had killed earlier. So I am able to get my bird some healing off of it. And go ahead and do my best to finish off this Alpha Raptor. So one positive, so not only do you get just a ton of experience for killing alphas, you also get stuff like, you also get better equipment out of it. So you get better crossbows, better picks, and better axes. So there we go, it's a level 72 Alpha Raptor. I got 60 prime meat out of that, and you see that green axe in my inventory, a couple of green crossbows. So I was flying around again, and I noticed another Giga. So this one's level 16. So still not a super high level one, but still incredibly dangerous. You can see that it goes up here to these stegos, and look at the stego just fly off when it bites. Just here, just boop, there it goes. It got hit so hard that it just flew off when it died. So now I cut most of this fight out to kind of spare you guys another long alpha fight, but you can see here that my bird is almost out of it's almost out of energy. I've been at this for quite some time. And so here we are, we're finally at the end. If I remember, I ended up getting a purple quality metal hatchet out of this one, so that was a really good one to kill. You can see down in the bottom right hand corner, I'm freezing to death, and you can see that my plus sign, my health sign, is almost all the way down. Now at this point, because I did the note run, and I've got all these experience, or I've got all these levels. I'm up to level 93, and I am almost dead. I've got 500 health at this point. So I go ahead and I turn on some fires, and I get warmed up, and I start healing. And this is this is where we come to the end of the video. I greatly thank you guys for watching. The next episode won't be so long out. I've just been struggling. I just haven't been in the mood to really record this voiceover, so here it is. I apologize it's so late. It's Tuesday, and I normally try to get these things out on Sunday, and that is my goal, is to get episodes of ARK out on Sunday. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. This has been a wonderful experience yet again. I hope that you guys are having fun with it. We're going to learn everything up that we can, and you guys take care.